All right, everybody, welcome to another exciting Tracy Brothers stream here on Twitch. Today we're going to be doing the listening party for the Star Traders 2 soundtrack. We ran a Kickstarter, and one of the rewards that we promised the people that backed was a copy of the soundtrack specifically mixed for listening out of the game. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to play a little bit of Star Traders in the background, and we're going to listen to each track. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that motivated the development of the music and the inspirations that we gave to the composer, working our way through that process, which is pretty exciting. So this is the first time, for those of you that don't know, this is the first time that Andrew and I have created custom compositions for the game. Previously, we have always purchased non-exclusive licenses to music that we liked. So this has been pretty exciting. And the composer that we found has played Star Traders RPG before, which is really cool. We were able to have like a very, a very good conversation with the composer regarding the track and what we wanted to see in it. And the discussion we were able to have was, about the game specifically. He played it when we said we want combat music. He knew what we were talking about. So that was really cool. And we were able to get, I think, some really great tracks. So we're going to start the listening party by firing up Star Traders, and we're going to listen to the title track. So the title track is the first thing that the player is going to hear when they launch the game. And what we said was this. We said the title track of the game should express the wonder, adventure, and danger of commanding a starship in space. Epic and sweeping are key here. As this is the first introduction the player will get to the game, it should have strong opening seconds, drawing the player into the experience and ambiance of Star Traders RPG. So that's what we said to our composer, and we gave him some references. One of the key references being the original Star Traders RPG title track, which is by Infenza or Stefan Presson, who's our composer on a bunch of our other games. And I think in listening to that, he got an idea of kind of where we're going. We also sent him some Jason Sambito, who composed the Battle Force soundtrack. So we sent him some references that we liked. And this is what he came up with. So this is the title screen music as it's going to appear on the soundtrack. The game version's a little different, but this is the title screen version. So that was the title track, which is pretty cool for us. It's definitely more involved than some of our other title tracks. We've traditionally picked title tracks that were more in the range of 30 to 60 seconds. That track is 2 minutes and 37 seconds long, making it, or 2 minutes and 57 seconds long. So about 3 minutes, making it our longest title track yet. We're going to be able to use this title track to introduce the game not only in the main menu, but during character creation and template generation, map generation. So this will be the music that draws the player in early on, before they are actually playing the game. Hopefully new players will go through this process fairly quickly, but we understand that some of the draw of a game like Star Traders is building a custom character and really getting to look at the scope of the game through the character creator. So we want there to be exciting, pleasant to listen to music to back that up, and that's why the title loop is so important. So that was the first track that we're going to list on the soundtrack. So one of the things that we got to think about a little bit was, this is the first time that Andrew and I have published an album. And we may be publishing a couple of different places. We're going to take a look at some of that. But, we've done games. We've published books, obviously for other people who've written the books, and we're just the publisher. But we're going to also be able to publish the soundtrack, share with our Kickstarter backers, and probably put it on Steam and maybe a few other places. So, the Tracy Brothers media empire grows. It's pretty exciting to be working on stuff that's strictly for us, for you. That isn't going to be in anybody else's game, isn't going to be on any TV commercials, or is really strictly unique and exclusive for Star Traders. So that's track one, the title screen. The second track that we're going to include on here is the battle music. So it won't be the second track that the player hears, but it will be the first piece of battle music will be the second track in the soundtrack track listing. So we're going to listen to that next. This is called Battle 1. This is played in battles that we don't expect to completely terrify the player. So that was Battle Music 1. That's again going to be the second track on the soundtrack, and will be played when the player is facing down an opponent that we think they have a pretty good chance of beating. We also have a second battle track that's intended to be a little bit more terrifying, and that'll be reserved for when you're fighting Xenos and other monsters like that. I will be right back. All right. Battle song number 2 for the dogs. Yeah, so Dreadful Animals. So we're gonna listen to this is going to be the third track on the album, and this is the map music. So this was one of the most the one that Andrew and I really had a lot of feedback for the composer. We went back and forth because this is a track that you're really going to hear a lot of. If you play Star Traders 2 like people play Star Traders 1, this is a song that's going to echo in people's dreams, and it's got to be a great track. And it's got to be something that really loops well, sounds good, has good pacing, doesn't become monotonous, is both exciting but also can fade into the background. So Peter Digital Vikings, our composer, put a lot of effort into this. So did Andrew and I. And here it is. This is the map music, track 3 on the soundtrack. This one is a little longer. So this one is 9 minutes long. And I'm just going to play some Star Traders here in the background, get this military officer and his crew on difficulty hard up a few levels. So we've got 9 minutes of map music. This will be the third track in the soundtrack, and here we are. So that was the map music, the third track on the soundtrack. And that'll be played while the player is navigating the stars, making hyperwarp jumps, executing trades, all the stuff that we just saw here. So the process that Andrew and I went through was really fun. Like I said, we haven't had an opportunity to do this before, but we really enjoyed it. Going back and forth with Peter about each track and about what we wanted to hear in the tracks was really cool. And like I said earlier, we picked a great composer because the person we picked is a player of games, plays RPGs, had played Star Traders RPGs, so knew the territory we were trying to cover. So what we told him really translated well, and that he understood what we were saying about the game and about what the player was going to be doing because he's been through it. So we said about the track we just listened to, the game map track. We said, during the main part of the game, the player controls a captain who manages their ship and crew during space and interplanetary travel. This play mode ranges from moderate speed turn-based events down to low-key browsing of cargo catalogs or leveling up of characters. More moderate beats per minute and tracks that don't involve too many major builds or tension breaks will help the music become an enjoyable part of the background atmosphere for different play styles within the game. So that's pretty vague, right? We gave him some references. We shared actually 5 different references, and it was really cool because I think something Andrew and I really respected about Peter and really appreciated from him was that he was willing to tell us when we were wrong. Which is one of the things as a small company or an independent creator, you really need the experts you're bringing in to be like, you're wrong. This is not correct. And he said that about our game map track references. We gave him some things that we thought fit really well, and he pointed out why they didn't fit, and he pointed out maybe a different direction that he wanted to go that still kind of met with the thing that I read, like our brief about the track, still satisfied those, but went kind of artistically in a different direction. And that's what we just listened to, is the outcome of us saying, all right, you're the expert at this. Let's go the direction that you're recommending we're going. We're paying you to be good at this. We like your work. And we feel like you know what you're talking about. So we're going to go with your gut. And I think the end result was something that Andrew and I are really happy that we ended up there instead of where we would have ended up on our own. So that was really cool, and that was an experience you just don't get. You just don't get that kind of experience when you're buying sample tracks. You're listening to catalogs, hundreds, sometimes it seems like thousands of tracks and loops and collections and sample packs, trying to find among this huge spectrum of available digital music. You're trying to find the handful of 5 or 6 tracks, 15 or 20 minutes of stuff that really fits your game and gets you excited and matches the other tracks you picked, fits with the soundtracks, is a price you can afford, comes in a format that you can use, has cross-platform licensing. Like, there's just so many requirements, and then you've got all these artistic desires, all these technical and production, publication, legal requirements that weigh down on it, and be able to just sit down in the studio with somebody who's really good at it. It was super awesome, and so I'm really, really happy that we got the opportunity to do that with Peter. So the final track, the scary track, the Xeno track, is what we're going to listen to next. We said this about combat. Combat is a fast-paced battle between ships and crews in chaotic boarding action and firing lines between vessels. While the music should carry a sense of urgency and a higher beats per minute, the player is still playing a turn-based mode and will take time considering each action. And they're not playing in real time. So tracks that build up tension will help reinforce the dangerous situations at hand. So when we listened to the earlier one, Battle Music 1, you could hear that it kind of goes through these building of tensions and then climaxing and which is kind of how the battle systems work, is that you've got a couple of turns where not too many things are happening, and then effects start to stack up and damage starts to pile up, and the casualties start to mount on both sides, and the pace of the combat quickens. So that's what we tried to capture, and I think in both Battle 1 and Battle 2, Peter did a great job capturing it. So we're going to listen to Battle 2 music. I'm just going to go back to playing here while we listen to it. This track's about 4 minutes long, and we'll be back after this. So here is Battle Music 2, the fourth and final track on the Star Traders 2 soundtrack. Yep. Wow, that's bad. I muted it because the dogs were barking, and then I didn't unmute it. So very professional streaming. So I'll just kind of start over. That was Battle Music 2. Andrew and I went back and forth on a couple of different approaches to this. One would be the Battle Force approach, where the music is selected so that it's balanced. So you hear the tracks about the same number of times. But what we want to do for Star Traders 2 is, you heard that introduction, that very ominous percussion line, and then the high-pitched, shrill, kind of horror movie shrieking. We want the player to associate that specific combat music intro, Battle Music 2. We want that to be something that plays when the player has real concern to be afraid. So you're facing a Xeno. You're facing a story boss, like a specific named legend that's been designed by another player that's out to get you. Or even just the battle generator has rolled a max difficulty, max hostility pirate. So there's a couple, because the game's proc gen, a mix of proc gen and narrative, we know when the player's at risk. We can mathematically figure it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate that risk, and then when we detect a high enough risk threshold, we're going to play Battle Music 2 so that we can hopefully get some of the kind of the ominous linking between that particular track and being at risk. So that was our Star Traders 2 listening party. I'm going to go off air briefly here so that this video can sync. So I'm going to be off air for just like a couple of seconds, and then we'll come back on. We're going to do question and answer and demo of phase 2, which we launched yesterday. I assume everyone's here because it was mentioned in the update. So we're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to look through the mini card games. Will have the map music most likely playing in the background, but the mini card games are going to have a background music. They're also going to have a full sound stage, which will include ambience, events, and all of that sound effect stuff will layer over top of the music, and I've been working on that. So I'm going to drop off air so we can get this to YouTube by itself, and then I'll be back and we will resume with phase 2 in about 30 seconds.